Bum, 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 bum. What's up, guys? Give me a second. Get it together. Well, we're going to need more time than that, but give me a second here. Get your fancy opening. Get some caffeine. One second, guys, and we'll be ready to go. we go with these internets. Hold on. I got it. I got it. I got it. I can do things. I'm smart. We're not bonded. Hold on. Hold on. We'll find that camera. Give me a second. I know I did. I know I got the camera. Give me a second. We're going to bond. Yeah, there we are. We're bonded. Okay, now it's loading in. Now I got that beep on me. Hold on one second. I got to go to this and let's see if we can get this together. All right. Okay. All right. It's like a freaking madhouse. Hold on. Hold on. And then we'll shrink that down, drop that in. Well, if nothing else, you're entertained. All right, cool. We got it. And now it's dark. Maybe it's this. Let's do it. Let's make it dark. How's that? Is that better? Yay. All right, cool. Let's get to it. EA got bought. You're looking at 210 a share. So we were actually fortunate enough to catch this thing before it was halted on Friday. Didn't catch this like somebody in the option market, but we're able to get in here. I think it's a big deal, actually, because it shows that people want to own these companies and they think the market's cheap. So when you see this kind of stuff, it's really good for the market. I'm going to just check my audio here. Yep, good, on the right mic. So I think it's really good for the market as a whole. If you take a look at the take two, you know, the fact that this is trading up makes zero sense to me. And I'm not really sure that it stays up. So, you know, I don't know. I'd watch this. I'm going to kind of watch it like a hawk here. I think that might be a short, actually. So I'm leaning that way. Like, I don't know why they're not getting bought. You know, maybe they're saying, oh, based upon the valuation, all these names should be higher. That's stupid. You know, it doesn't really make sense to me. So unless they think someone's going to buy them, then maybe, but I don't see it really playing out that way. So I don't know. I think that's a short. The IREN, you're going to see a lot of action in this name today. You know, I have key levels marked off. 40 is a big one. 42 is a big one. I'll just leave them up because I'm on that page. But the conference or the interview on Friday was really, really big. So I would pay attention to that today too. Tesla looks like you're going to break out again today. I'm just giving you the headlines before I get into the indexes. This looks like you're going to absolutely break out of this area today. I'd watch this like a hawk, 445. You get through 445, that's going to go. That's going to go. If you look at that on a weekly chart, that's the highest weekly close you've ever had. So that could really rip people's heads off right there. Pardon my voice. And, you know, down 1, 2, 3 bar, and then you flip. I mean, it's literally the definition, right? Like that's like a bullish, bullish hook reversal. Anyone ever watch those videos I did on like these patterns? Like that's literally perfect. It's crazy how perfect it is. I think that if you go and take a look at this, it's really hard to not see this, but I'll show it to you where you've bottomed and now you're heading right back up to this level, but you've worked off that oversold. And so when you're working off that oversold, you really don't want to be on the other side of it until, you know, you're back to overbought, and then you want to look at it and maybe you're going to roll. So like, let's say that you're like a nervous Nelly. The thing for me might be what happens. Like, let's say that, yeah, we're going to get up here, we're going to retest, and then we're going to roll back down, right? I might want to look to see if we get some kind of DTL here on the RSI, and that might give me a little more color. But right now, it's really hard to look at that and say, like, yeah, we're definitely going to roll back over. I would be a little concerned about the unwind tomorrow. I think the unwind's kind of interesting with, with, I think it's tomorrow, right? What's today? Today's the 29th. Yeah. So tomorrow's the end of the quarter, and you're going to have a lot of people that didn't sell what they were supposed to sell from pension funds. So you could get a little goofy tomorrow with names like that, with the realignment, what they're going to buy, what they're going to sell. But also, I think you could see some other things out there that are issues with the JP Morgan collar unwind. That's linked to a dollar, that's linked to treasuries, it's linked to gold. So there's a lot of moving parts to that huge unwind. And then on top of that, you also have this government shutdown, which is like, it's quite obvious the government's going to shut down because, they want to shut down because it's the same old playbook. If we shut down, then he's bad. Okay. So all that crap. It is what it is, whatever. It doesn't matter who's in office. The other side always tries to shut down now because they think it makes the other side look bad when they don't realize it's them that actually looks bad, but whatever. If you kind of look, you're kind of wedged in here. So I don't really see it as, something you got to worry about. I do see the shorter time frame right there. And that could be a little bit of an issue on the unwind, but I'm just not seeing this like area where I really have to concern myself with. I mean, that's the longer one, but if you look at that, and I think there's even another one there if we really looked at it, right? So, and I know people don't like these trend lines, but they are right there. So we should probably just pay attention to them. So more people like the support and resistance lines. But if you start fanning, and then you're unable to get through the fan, you have a problem. And I think that's definitely, something to look at, but it's definitely on my mind. You got to kind of see if because when you start breaking them and then you're like, okay, well, we can't get through that aspect of it. We can't get through this one. The fan starts working its way down. It becomes an issue. I don't want to get that technical right now. I think the best thing that you could do is just see what happens when you get up to that area and see how it plays out. Can you break down? Yeah. I mean, you can 100% break down. I just don't know that you're going to. You got some really big levels here, and I'm just not sure that, you're going to break them. You retested exactly where you needed to. I would love to have seen an undercut. I think the undercut would have been way cooler, but you didn't get that. So that leaves us with this, and let's get rid of this because that's going to take you over that anyway. So it's pointless, right? The question is left, head, right. Like, are you developing a right shoulder here? I sure hope not, because that's going to be nasty if it's true. I just don't see it that way. I don't know what the fundamental catalyst is going to be to get us down, really. And I think that's really going to be the thank you. I just don't know that that's going to be the issue here. Okay, I'm really sick of this thing, so we'll have to get out of that if it prints there. Let's look at this thing. I'm going from there. Yeah, that's stupid though. Let's go to this real quick and go take a look at the SPY because I think this is interesting. So this was actually an older call level right here. The blues are that green's a call level, but your call level moved up. So I don't really think that there's a whole heck of a lot to do or say here. Like, I think you're in your major call levels down here or put levels down here, but you have a minor one like here that they're watching, and you didn't break down. Like, you could have easily have broken down, but instead you went right to, the itchy level where he got done speaking and tied directly into, for those that don't remember, like right here was CPI. And then this is where Itchy got done speaking. This is where he said, good afternoon. I don't know how the guy doesn't have a complex. And And, and then we have our retest right here, which is perfect. Overlay it. I mean, it doesn't really get any cleaner than that when you start looking at these levels. Like, it's like, my God, that's like so obvious. So, I mean, this is really obviously the area to buy at, and you held. So I don't know. I do think you should still keep, your head about you. Like, do you get are you setting up? Like, are you setting up for some kind of roll? Like, why would we roll? Like, it's got to be some kind of catalyst. Like, what would be the reason? Don't tell me the market's expensive. It's so stupid. That's what you're thinking. It doesn't make any sense. Like, the market's worth what the market's worth, right? So, and everyone's taking their numbers up because of earnings. So, like, what's the catalyst? I mean, is it like geopolitical tensions? Does the war kick up? I don't know. I was trying to figure out like what's going to really hurt us. And you really couldn't get down here to the itchy level on the NASDAQ. So what market's stronger, right? So if you were to look at that, what market's stronger? You'd have to say that the NASDAQ's stronger than the S&P. And that's a good thing, right? Because you always want the high beta stuff to be stronger because the S&P has what? It's got all the defensive stuff in it. So if the S&P is stronger than the NASDAQ, that's not a blessing. Unless you're, doing the hedge, which some people will do, the hedge. You can see what happened when we flipped the peak VWAP right there and where you're at. Test pulls back. So, I can get rid of my little level here. I don't think we're getting there today. So let's just not put 5,000 levels out there. I do want to keep these there though, but I don't think I really need, I'll keep that one, but I don't know that I need this today. I'd rather draw these daily because it keeps you in line and in check, and I'll take this out. But if you're not going to flip that, then the other thing that you probably would be very helpful in doing here is just clicking on the low, and seeing where that is. And like, you're not even near that, man. So there's not really a whole hell of a lot to do there. I mean, even if you click this one, you're not even there. So that tells you how cheap everybody is from these peaks. So they're not going to be worried. I mean, they don't have a care in the world. You really want to watch that Tesla today over 445, guys. I like these things a lot. I didn't know they broke my fast though. They have calories, but they don't have calories from proteins, carbs, or fats. It's from some kind of energy source. So it doesn't really spike insulin. Not that you guys care, but I just thought that was super interesting. Because I find them like that helps the most out of anything, even more than coffee sometimes. Get rid of the brain fog, the ketones. What else? What else I got? The blue light glasses are helping big time with the eye strain. And now I got these ones for nighttime too. Like the red ones, sleeping like a freaking baby wearing those things. That's crazy. Because I stare at screens. Before I fall asleep, I look at charts for like an hour at least at nighttime. And I started throwing them on with it. Game changer, those things. Yeah, I wouldn't sleep on this, guys. For those that are like aggressive, you're going to really want to watch this today. If you take one thing from this, just watch that 445. Like that's a big freaking level that you're flipping there. All right, let's take some questions and then we'll go from there. Okay. As always, subscribe to the channel, click all notifications. Oh, I got to get this banner out. Non-farm payrolls are coming at 8 a.m. or 8:30 on Friday. If you're trying to get into the community, make sure you're on the wait list because eventually the price, it might not happen till the end of the year, but the price is going to double, not only because of demand, but because we're adding a bunch of stuff to it. There'll be just going to be like a squawk and all this other stuff that we're working on. And eventually, yes, it will come. Non-farm payrolls, what else do we have to work with? They're Friday. on the ADP, the ISM manufacturing. You get ISM manufacturing. That actually might be today, right? Isn't that today? Trading, econ. And the question is, do we start getting this stuff before? There it goes. Boom. Boom shakalaka. You're welcome. That 445 is major. Like, I don't think people get it. You don't even know. But no, seriously, it's really major. That's a big level. Where is this? Hold on one second. Hold on. Was it Tuesday it's coming? Or when's the government shutdown? October 1st? Yeah, so that's the thing. Wednesday, they're worried about, do we get that data? Is Wednesday. Question of government shutdown. And for those that watch this later, we'll put this out there. Tesla 445. That way you guys have this 445 level is huge. I'm going to type that in caps. Who's got caps and two thumbs? This guy. EA bought at 210. That was a monster trade. Yeah, if I know what time that closes. What else was really interesting? You guys should remember IREN is on IRN was CNBC Wednesday, last Friday. You can see that move today on that last Friday. Link for Alpha Chasers community is in. It's like watching me use the computer is like watching somebody like a caveman try to fight fire, right? Link for Alpha Chasers communities in the description, and I should pin it as well. But community waitlist. Is in the community, adding features soon, so price will double soon. Once that happens, because the data feeds, I'm going to get like an institutional data feed that I used to use a lot, and I haven't been using it because it was super expensive. But the stuff that I'm getting from it, I forgot how lucrative it was. Anyway, let's do it. Let's get to it. I just wanted to get that out there. So for people to come in late. What's up, John? Good morning. Day 2. Yeah, the T-bill auctions are definitely something today. How aggressive do you buy T-bills ahead of a government shutdown, right? EA, I'm in. I'm just trying to figure out, do I want to sell the rest of it or do I want to wait for my $6.50? It really boils down to me, candidly, to how long it's going to take. If it takes a year, I don't want to make 3.4%. If it takes 3 months, I want to make 3.4%. If I can earn double digits per annum on it, then I'll do it. The thing about private equity deals is they don't need a lot of regulatory approval because they're done. Like, it's a done deal, right? So I think that's super interesting. Certainly interesting to me. IBM, I was talking to someone that's like a lot smarter than me, which is a lot of people, and they're really into this quantum stuff. Like, they know it cold. And they said to me, the only name that they would ever buy in quantum, like, and hold long-term was IBM. So I don't really have a major position in it right now. You have your gap fill, you had your earnings. It's been doing this a lot, really, hasn't it? And that's kind of like why I don't really feel the need that I have to rush into it. Expectations are always great. Then it just kind of blobs out. If expectations are great, it doesn't really go anywhere. Expectations are like, and then you hit and it's like, oh, we're going to go. And then womp, womp. The time to buy it, it's very interesting because it reminds me a lot of Oracle, where Oracle would come out, John, and it would have like an okay quarter, right? But then it would do stuff like this, like very similar, right? Where it would break out and then it just doesn't go anywhere. And then it would just fall apart on earnings. And that's when you would buy it. But if you bought the breakouts on earnings, you didn't really go anywhere. You had to buy, like this one you did, but you have to buy when it's like they're destroying it. Well, this one you did because everybody figured out. They went, oh my God, like the earnings were just insane. And this was just really insane. So, but did you really make money buying it that day? Like we bought it off of this and we had a really good trade on it. And then we bought it down here and we're very fortunate to catch this. And that was fortunate. I mean, it just was. That wasn't like, I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought they'd have a good quarter, but I didn't think that. And we were up enough in it from there, like 230 to hold into it. You know, the question with this kind of stuff is, what do you do now with these kinds of names like IBM? Like, do you need to buy it now? I mean, my rule of thumb with it would be like, maybe I just wait for 3 weeks and then just see what I get. Maybe I get lucky and it gets hammered, you know? That's kind of where my head is with it, to be honest. So I don't know that I really need to do anything, you know, out there. I really don't. I think that that's super important. I wouldn't. I don't know, man. I just think it's like one of those things you're going to get in, and then I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm just not crazy about it. I'm biased. I drink someone else's energy drinks, so not really. No, I don't like it. I always wonder why Pepsi just doesn't. Didn't they get stuck? Didn't they spin off? Didn't Pepsi stick them with like a bad line or something? You know, this is so interesting, Julian, because I wanted to do this the other day and I couldn't find what I needed. And then I got sidetracked. I want to see if that's secondary priced. And I'm trying to look at this one news source right now. It's giving me a hard time. Is there anything else giving me a hard time or just that news source? Let me go to here real quick and see if I can pull. I'll just use one of the other news feeds if you're going to suck. I can't wait to just go back to the way it was. I got rid of this one news source a couple of years ago just because it was like so expensive. And then when I realized how much stuff like I'm actually missing from it, it got super annoying. I don't have it out there yet, man. Let me go one more source. So I don't know that this thing priced yet, right? They did a secondary. Did it price? Let me just go and take a look. So they did this secondary. I don't see that it priced anywhere. I really don't. So I don't know, man. I don't know that I would. I don't know. The more I look at it, the more I want to make sure that this price. I'm not getting that on any of these new services. So if you have that, let me know. But I don't see that anywhere, and it's certainly of interest to me because once it prices, they're going to find out they're not going to get as much as they thought they were going to get, and I think that's going to be a big deal. I really do. So no one's bringing up Crocs, which I thought was interesting, considering Sydney Sweeney's been like a freaking home run for people. I'd really want to look into that, Julian. I really would. Circle, I'll tell you when I think Circle actually has a really good time. I don't understand this one, so I haven't gone near it. I'm more interested in some of the larger names. I think they look fantastic. I think Circle does amazing going into a conference. There's a big conference that's like invite only for all these banks mid-October. And I think when people start getting this, that it's going to move. Do you have to get involved now? I mean, it's there, man. Like it's starting to turn again. So, you know, with this kind of stuff, I always watch stuff like this and go, okay, well, there's your stop. Like you have to use the low of that doji, which ties directly into that, right? So you might want to just look at a couple other things. Like if we looked at the MACD histogram, what's that look like? Does that give us anything? I don't want your MACD histogram. I want my MACD histogram. I don't know. I've only been using this thing for years. I wonder why I go through keyboards. It's got to hold there. I mean, you have to hold that doji. And as long as you're above it, that's fine. I think I would be better off. I think I'd be let me see something here. Let me see what you're doing. What are you doing, Willis? It's a little more interesting this way, to be honest with you. But I don't have that doji. I think it's the same. I think it's the same soup. Here's what would be super interesting to me. See that right there? Can I close over that level? I actually think I'm going to put an alert here for me. I actually think when people hear this, and it's just my thought on it, but when people hear this, why is everything so slow today? Are you guys having issues as well? Let me know if you guys are having issues with TradingView. All right, a couple guys reached out. So when I look at something like this, I think the more people that start catching on to it, the better. I'd want a higher high. I find it interesting, the name interesting, because I know in 2 weeks, I think that when people are at this conference, I actually think that they're going to get it. And it's like the more stodgy institutional level people, right? It's not the cutting edge kind of people, but it's the people that have like deep pockets. And I think when they understand this, they're going to be all over it. I could be wrong. Rocket, I think we've seen our like puke level, don't you? You know, kind of thinking that maybe we've puked it out enough. You've done the gap fill. It sure feels that way. Still feels like pukey, but maybe we got to get over some of this stuff, work it off a little bit. But it does feel like we're getting there, doesn't it? We still have this screaming down at us. Red means stop to me. I'm not the brightest bulb, so I tend to color code things because it does help me. It helps me greatly to just look at things quickly and go, oh, it's one of these. I'm interested, but right on top means stop, right? So when I look at it, it's the 8, the 5, and the 3 on a 15. If you guys want the codes, it's right here. You can just screenshot it. 78, 130, 208. It's not rocket science. But by looking at it on a shorter time frame, it just allows me to understand how they're being nuanced and how they're playing with each other that sounded weird, but how they're doing on a day, on an intraday basis. So I don't know. I'm losing my voice. I'm gonna get something to drink. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'd like something a little more definitive there, than that. That's kind of how I feel about it. What else you got, brother? What else you looking at there? Aaron, let's go take a look at this. AVGO. I mean, it's very similar, right? So I really tend to stick with this, man. Like if I was going sideways and chopping it up, then I'd be more interested. But when this is doing that, I'm just not that brave. I've learned over time to just like let it chill out, let it figure out. Like I don't have anything that's great there about that. Like nothing is great about that. As a matter of fact, the exact opposite, because you have your breakout on your doji and then you just got completely matumboed at the previous close. So like, it's not sexy. I mean, that's for sure. So I don't know. I want me to go near it. I love it. Like I own it, but do I have to buy it right now? What's up, Di? Tesla, we covered. We covered ZIM. So, I mean, I'll tell you where my head is with this one. I just think it's one of those names you buy and you forget that you own. I think if you try and time it, it's going to be a bloodbath. I own it. I don't look at it. I just add to it. Someday they'll either get bought or they'll start issuing those dividends again. Either way, I'll win. So I don't really do a lot with it. There's not a lot for me to do there. And that's just kind of where my head is with it. So I don't know. Everyone's like, oh, Israel's going to shut down. They're not going to use the company. Okay. People want to ship their goods worldwide. It's really that simple. And they have some of the only routes from like Singapore. I think it's from Shanghai to Baltimore. They're like the only one that has the route. So it is what it is. I think you're going to bonk all around. I think the CEO wants to take the company public. So I think, or private rather, apologies. So I think that he's trying to make it look as ugly as he wants it to be. That's kind of where my head is with it. So, but we'll see what happens there. What else we got going on here? Yeah, I don't know that I really need to get out of the rest of that anytime soon. I personally, I think the CEO eventually either gets kicked to the curb and they start issuing the dividends, or they're going to get sick of his games and the investors are going to throw him out. I have to look into the holders. I really haven't paid attention to it because either way I win. Either way he buys the company, takes it private, or either way they start issuing these dividends again. Either way, it's a win-win. But you have to be looking out like long-term with this. The idea that you're going to be in this and you're going to catch the move the day, it's just not going to work that way. So you kind of have to look at it that way. And if you're not willing to like to me with this kind of name, if you're not willing to like be in this long-term, I think it's very difficult to play it. I really do. I don't think it's easy. Thanks, John. Yeah, I'm in it. We caught it, so I'm happy. Yay. Coming away from Japan. What's up, Tariq? COPX. Yeah, I mean, honestly, when I look at this and I look at like HG, I'm really annoyed that I didn't buy this July 30th. Like, really annoyed. I really am. When you go back and you like look at that move, like that was just the outright buy of this. It's just all these things are going to go higher, like XAU, all of this stuff. GLD I bought the other day. They're just no brainers right now. And the government shutdown, which probably does happen, is not going to make it better. It's not going to make it worse. So I just look at it like when I look at it, that's kind of where my head is with it. So I don't know, man. I don't know that you have to like rush into it, but trailing stops on this stuff are not going to be crazy where you're moving your stop up to key levels. Like we bought this the other day and my stop was like $2 or $3. Like it was so easy, and I think I bought it like with the stop was like 340 or something. I paid like 342 or 343 and it can keep going, but now I'm at like 3-1 already. I don't know what's going to stop it, dude. I don't know. You have so much uncertainty in the world and so many countries are buying their own physical assets right now because they're concerned about the instability. And I think they should be concerned about the instability because I don't know how this ends. It certainly doesn't seem to be going away, does it? So Italy to me is like the sleeper of Europe more than anything. And I don't know anything about this company, so I can only talk about it technically, but I actually think the two things that make the most sense to me is that Italy is going to absolutely boom. And I actually think Argentina is in a lot of trouble. So, I mean, that's really how, where my head is with it when I look at this stuff. But I think Italy is going to absolutely boom. I think if people actually looked at the tax structure that Italy's offering, like the wealthiest people and what's going on in Milan, where they're all moving to, or the majority's moving there, it's super interesting, like really interesting. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Like, I really do. I think it's really interesting. And I don't know what's going to, I don't really know what's going to stop it. when I really look at it and go like, okay, well, what slows this down or what stops it? I'm not really sure what that is. So, keep that in mind. What's up, Ian? I do. I think that Italy's definitely something to look at, Jacob. This GRR is too thin for me. I tried it once. I just got smoked in it. I'm not a fan. This makes a ton of sense. DPRO makes a ton of sense to me. Marvel, I'm not a fan. I know you guys love it. And when it starts breaking down, that's really the time to get involved. I mean, you can try. I don't know why I would put myself through the pain again. Like it's very difficult to trade. Like you keep waiting for these great earnings and you just never really get these great earnings. So, and you keep hearing that, oh no, it's next quarter. It's like the AMD thing. Like everyone keeps waiting for AMD and these great earnings. And they just never really tend to happen. So, the stock keeps going up on the hopes and dreams. It's like a hopes and dreams kind of thing. It's really weird. But, like, oh no, this is going to be our quarter. And then everybody rushes into it. And then it's not your quarter. Like, it's so weird to me, but I don't know if you want to just talk technically, if you look at the breakout of it, like, does that really break out this time? Maybe it does. Do I need to get involved with that? Not really. I mean, this is where we broke down. This was the bad earnings. I'm right against that key level where we had the, that abandoned baby sort of pattern. I can't break out of it. None of these averages are even caught up to the 200 yet. Could it go? Yeah. I mean, semis look decent, man. Like the SOX looks good. Like that does not look, doesn't look awful. I mean, I've seen awful before. That's not what it looks like. So yeah, 100%. I think too many of these companies are out there saying they're going to buy ETH. They're going to buy ETH. We're going to buy. Yeah, we're going to be another treasury. You're not a treasury. You have worthless stock and you're buying an asset. Like all of a sudden, these companies that have like awful management, everything else, like people are like, oh, it's a store of value. Well, just buy ETH if ETH is a store of value. Like, why do I need to buy this treasury? Oh, you don't understand. No, believe me, I understand. And it's just mind-boggling to me. Like, I don't understand the benefit in paying over on something. Like, if somebody owns a bank and they went out there, or they own a worthless stock and they put gold in there, like, am I going to pay more because they own gold? No, but for some reason, people will just get like into this frenzy about it. And eventually one of these companies is going to blow up. And they're going to say like, oh, well, we're going to buy our stock at NAV. And then they're not going to buy their stock at NAV. And then no one's going to believe in them. And so it's going to cause some kind of panic. I've watched this cycle play out like 4 or 5 times in my life. And you're seeing it already. You're seeing the crack. So like here. So like here was the first one. Like, oh, we're going to be this ETH treasury. Okay, cool. And then you see what they did. Right? Everybody bought it ahead of time. Right? Of course, this is in China. But everybody bought it ahead of time. Everyone piled in. Oh, this is going to be the next one. Wham, $1. Well, why? Because they're not doing what they said they were going to do. So then you go look at like SBET, and I don't know where SBET is right now, but I guarantee you that that's probably under NAV. So what did they say that they were going to do in here when it started getting bad? They said, oh, we're going to put $1.5 billion out there, and whenever it breaks NAV, we're just going to buy it. Well, maybe you are buying it, and you're not even able to hold it above NAV. Now, I have to go look at where NAV is on this right now, so it's not really fair. But what will happen eventually is this one or one of these will crack NAV, and it will become an absolute disaster. And so what you'll start seeing is people buy those under NAV. Like this one started getting bought when it got under NAV. It was like 237, and I went to buy it, and then I got busy. But like that's when you buy these things at discounts. So like back in the day, we were buying this thing in here when nobody wanted it. And we were paying in here, we were paying 60 cents on the dollar for Bitcoin. Like it made no sense whatsoever to me. You could have paid 60 cents on the dollar. To think that that's not going to happen with these names is just delusional. Oh no, well, we've got Tom Lean. He's got this great head of hair, so he's going to be on TV. It becomes that greater fool theory. And eventually it just turns into a suck salad, for lack of a better term. So I think what happens with one of these things is they go through a liquidation. And when they go through that liquidation, right, no different than when FTX went through a liquidation and Bitcoin you could have bought for 17,000, but everyone wants to buy it at 120. You're going to go through the same thing here. This freaking keyboard's about ready to get used like a Frisbee today. So that's where my head is with it. Now, if you look at this here, because it's a really good question. Like, whenever you're ready, I'm ready. There it goes. So if you look at it here, like you're really trying to turn. I'm really getting annoyed with the system lately and how long this is taking. I don't really have a divergence. I've already worked off the oversold, right? I'm completely worked off the oversold. I'm already overbought and I haven't gone anywhere. That tells me that I've got a lot of selling behind me and there's a lot of selling in there. So when I see that kind of stuff, I want to pay attention to it. The other thing that you'll note is this. Here's Bitcoin. And so then here's Ethereum. It doesn't mean I'm right, but this is where my head is with it. Click off of this. So Bitcoin versus Ethereum on a 4-hour chart. What are you noticing, right? You'll see this trend. Well, in here, you definitely didn't want to buy what? Bitcoin, but you're starting to see that trend change pretty drastically. And I think that's going to continue to change. And I think eventually it gets a lot worse, quite frankly, and that you're better off. So to me, the trade is really like, if you want to be in crypto, I think it's long Bitcoin, short ETH right here. Because I think it's just a matter of time. Oh, what else we got? They have earnings this week, Troy. Yeah, it does. I agree with that. Oh, I definitely think they're going to do a government shutdown. Go Birds. They killed it. Actually, Tampa looks really good, don't they? I'm going to try to get through this fast. I actually think they're going a lot higher. I actually think you're going to break out, take out highs soon. Is where my head is with it. That's what I think. Did you blow up? Did you? Man, I just read this really cool article on biotech. Like it was so well done. It was like 40 pages. JP Morgan did it. It was like so interesting. It shows that like 80% of IPOs will lose 50 to 100% of their value within 5 years, but 5% will be up 20x. That doesn't get your blood going. Good morning from LA. Good morning from Miami. What's up, Brian? Yeah, I lock everybody in. I think that's cheesy. I lock everybody in. I got guys in there that are like from the first price. I don't do that. I think that's really cheesy. I'm just telling people because the cost is going to be expensive for me, and I'm not going to just pay. I'm going to pay for it. Do you think so? It's temporary. I don't. And also, the other thing I would say to you is I would never ask me what silver is going to do because I don't have a vehicle that I trade worse than silver. Someone could literally map out like 100% win rate on silver. And if I get involved with it, yeah, it's just an absolute disaster. So I don't know that you have a top. I think that you could see them come in. Commodities will come in if there's not a government shutdown. I think there's going to be a government shutdown. Waiting for a call from Sydney. Yeah. Now she's in jeans. Now she's got footwear. She's killing it, that girl. Hood, Joby, Teva. Are they? Give me some symbols. Yeah, I'm not sure that I believe it. Is that what it is? 3% of GDP. I actually think that they're in great shape. Do you feel liberated? I am Macy's. Do you feel liberated being here? There's not much to do with it. Like, it's a perfect, beautiful flag. I got to jump, guys. Trade to win today. Make good choices.